Hey Legends, welcome to another video. Season 16 has brought with it a whole lot of new weapon changes. There are obvious top tier weapons this season, and more slept on, extremely powerful picks that are underutilized. Keep in mind that this list is fully subjective and for entertainment only, so please resist the urge to cook me alive in the comments. However, if you disagree, leave a comment with your logic behind your favorite weapons. Let's get into it. As much as it hurts me to say, because I love this weapon so much for so many seasons, I think the 30-30 repeater has to be the worst weapon. Not only does it have bad time to kill at range, which is its whole purpose, but it doesn't fill any role in any loadout. It has terrible hipfire. I mean, it's gotta be the worst in the game other than Devo, and despite you being able to reload 2 shells at a time, it still takes too long to reload. Its bullet travel somehow feels slower than Mozambique, and this means you have to lead your shots by way too much at range. 30-30 D tier. Ironically, after some buffs, the L-Star just doesn't really serve a purpose in Apex. Bad time to kill, bad range, bad hipfire. It does, however, have no reload if you feather the trigger correctly. Its muzzle flash gets in the way of people trying to shoot you, but it also gets in the way of you trying to shoot others. L-Star D tier. It doesn't really serve a role. That's it for D tier because these weapons just don't really have a role that isn't better filled by another weapon. C tier is for weapons that are good but need some sort of buff to become sexy again. Spitfire has interesting history. When it dropped, it was meta because of the easy recoil, good firepower, high capacity, terribly annoying bullet stun. Since then, it's seen nerfs to every single thing it had going for it. It's not as bad as the pros say it is, because its recoil is still pretty easy and its mag size is still really big, but it just doesn't have the power that it used to. Spitfire C tier. This is where a lot of you guys are raging rant in the comments, either because it's terrible balancing and you think this weapon should be buffed, since it's in the care package and shouldn't be in C tier, or you're mad because you think I'm wrong and this is the best gun in the game. Either way, the Kraber is a really hard one to talk about. It doesn't one-shot anymore if the enemy has purple helmet and purple shields, which most people have by the end game. Its hipfire or no-scope potential has been demolished in recent updates, so now it's a Sentinel that has slightly higher damage per bullet but worse overall time to kill, and the same bullets to kill, but you only get 12 rounds, can't customize it, and it has worse bullet travel time than every other sniper, making it terrible at range, which is what a sniper is for. Whether or not you play pubs or ranked, the Kraber is nowhere near as powerful as it should for a care package weapon. Maybe they should add a mechanic where you can salvage a stack of sniper ammo for a Kraber round, or 2 or 3 Kraber rounds, or make it one shot again, at least in pubs. Perhaps you could just put it on the ground for a switch up and don't change that much about it. The Kraber needs a buff, and streamers can cry all they want, but I want my funny one shot gun back. Kraber is regrettably C tier. I think that's it for the bad weapons. Every other gun in the game fills a niche and serves its purpose to an extent. Some of these picks might need tiny buffs, but I wouldn't mind if they didn't change, so let's go into B tier. Rampage is a good gun. For some reason, it has time to kill on the easiest recoil in the game, probably. It has a lot of range with ridiculous capacity, but it struggles at close range with bad hipfire and mediocre DPS. I think it's quite balanced at the moment. Reload time is absurdly long, but you don't need to reload, so it doesn't really matter. Rampage B tier. Triple Take has incredible bullet speed and amazing range. With its perfect hipfire, it can also double as a shotgun in a pinch. But it absolutely guzzles ammo, and at long range, the choke time makes its effective DPS lower. So it's easy to use and versatile, but I think it's fine where it is. Triple Take B tier. The first SMG on this list is the Alternator. Its DPS isn't great compared to the other SMGs, but let's be honest, it sounds really bad auditorially. Its recoil is extremely easy, you just pull down, and it's super consistent, which means at close ranges, it's pretty good. I think they should rework the sounds to make it sound less like a toy and more like a gun. Maybe tweak the fire rate as well, but honestly, it's also fine where it is. Alternator B tier. The devotion is weird. Some of the worst recoil in the game, the worst hipfire to boot. But its time to kill is absurd to say the least. A good Devo main can take down an entire squad on a base Devo without ever having to reload. It's also insanely powerful on drop with a high cap magazine, and it's even crazier when it's built. A Devo in a Rampart's hands is pretty scary. You can actually be the difference between whether or not a team decides to push you. I think the Devo is slept on this season because of the other energy weapons doing some of its job, but even better. It's not a terrible pick, just make sure you know its recoil and are comfortable with its bad iron sights. Devo B tier. It feels wrong to put a gun that's been bottom of the barrel for so many seasons at the top of B tier, but I'm comfortable putting the Sentinel here. I don't think it was ever nearly as bad as some people claimed, but it for sure needed some buffs. And it got buffs alright. It only takes one shield cell to make it a 2-shot to kill beast. And now with Temple just being part of the gun, somebody with great flicks can get a down at insane ranges in less than 2 seconds. Something Kraber doesn't even do. Not to mention it's actually able to be customized with your preferred optic, and its mag size can be upgraded. Better fire rate and no scope potential. Sentinel is finally an gun instead of not really a gun. At least it's not Kraber, that's for sure. Sentinel is at the top of B tier. In A tier, there isn't a bad pick. These weapons are pretty strong if you use them correctly, and they shouldn't see nerfs simply because having strong guns in the game makes the game fun. Except for the charge rifle. It shouldn't be in the game, and I'm not gonna acknowledge its existence. A tier. It's weird to see Arthur 1 not in S tier. I think it's a good pick. It still hits like a truck from basically any range, and it's super good on drop and built up. Easy recoil and great 1 mag potential. Say this gun is finally balanced. Good on the devs for not making this gun bad, but finally balancing it. A rare respawn W, if you will. R301 A tier. I think the R99 is where people leave the video, because it's clearly an S tier gun, and I don't disagree. But I feel like it's overrated by a tiny bit this season. I think it could totally be an S tier if it wasn't for the problem plaguing an entire class of guns right now. The SMG class uses a goddamned laser sight, the worst attachment in the game. It not only doesn't feel like it does anything to make your hipfire better, but it also makes your position easier to find because of the laser. It's not the R99's fault for being in a lower A tier, it's because of the laser sight. Even though it has amazing DPS, I'll put it here, because the recoil is absurd. R99 is A tier. The Prowler is the most slept on weapon in the game in my opinion. Super easy recoil, good at close, medium, even mid to long ranges, doesn't need to be built other than a mag, has absolutely insane kill power. Seriously, start using the Prowler. Prowler A tier. Mozam, Peacekeeper, Eve 8, and Mastiff I think are all equal this season. They all have great power, close range, and people need to stop sleeping on the Mozambique specifically. Even without hammer points, this thing has more range than any shotgun in the game with good kill power. I take Mozam and Eva into the endgame all the time and Slaughter all the time now, but Mozam has been good for a lot of seasons. People just don't like it for some reason. Maybe because auditorially it sounds like a wet fart, but Mastiff and PK are basically the same gun for different people. If you're better with one or the other, just use the one you like most. Mastiff has lower per shot damage, but better reload mechanics. PK can mess you up with its long reload, but has better per shot damage, so take your pick. Eva in close quarters has extremely fast time to kill, the best of any shotgun in the game. Eva, in my opinion, is perhaps the easiest shotgun to use because you don't have to ADS and you can just track people with it and kill them insanely fast. It's functionally an SMG, but you can mess around with peak timing because it's not fully automatic like an SMG is. Others may not agree. My point is all the shotguns are really good now. Just use whichever one you like the most. Shotguns are top of A tier. Wingman is the first entry into S tier. It does everything really well. I don't see much of it around as I used to. I think maybe because the SMG meta right now, but it's as strong as it's been for many years now. If you land your shots, you will slaughter everyone with it. Wingman is obviously S tier. Car SMG tops R99 in my tier list at least. You may not agree, and that's fine, but it has similar DPS, but it has 2 ammo types. It's like the R99 with 2 ammo types and easier recoil. It's absurd. card. It doesn't suffer from laser sight disease, and even with its capacity nerf, it's still easy to one mag with. Car SMG is S tier. Interchangeably, I think the best weapons in the game are the Havoc and the Flatline. Havoc is for those who want the best of the absolute best generalist weapon at the cost of hours and hours learning the recoil. Flatline is for those who need something more consistent with similar kill power, but both do everything at all ranges. Havoc and Flatline are the best weapons, well, the best floor loot weapons in the game, in my opinion. Then you have the care package weapons, excluding Kraber, which are obviously top of S tier. And Nemesis isn't on the tier list I found, so I'll put it at the bottom of A tier because it's Hemlock. Verbatim. Seriously guys, Hemlock was amazing on the ground and no one used it. This is the same gun, but people use this because it's new. It is Hemlock, verbatim. It's not actually as broken as people say, it's just Hemlock, and Hemlock was always good. That's my take on the weapons, at least. Feel free to argue with me in the comments because I always love talking to you guys, but just try to keep this discussion civil. I don't want anybody to be attacked for their take on the balance of a video game. That's just not cool. I set a like goal of 100 last video and you guys doubled it with over 200 likes. So thank you so much for that. If I break 300 likes on this video, I'll make a video on how to get heirlooms for free. Not kidding, there is a way and it's not cheating or an exploit. Stay tuned for that. One more thing, I have a Patreon now. If you want to support me, it's $3 for your name and purple glowy text at the end of every video, and an invite to my Discord with one-on-one coaching sessions. It'd mean a lot to me since YouTube hasn't monetized my channel yet and I'm not making anything from these videos. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you in the future.